Good morning. Good morning. It's gentle yoga today. Gentle yoga with 2 blocks, a strap, and a blanket. So get those props for yourself. And we're just going to sit up nice and tall here. Just take a couple deep breaths here. Let's turn off our phones. Turn off any other apps that are bugging you or distracting you. We talked last week about discipline. It's being a disciple to the task, being a student to the task. And our task is for an hour to really look within, calm our inner waters, check and see how we're doing, really refuel so that we can get back out there and serve others without resentment, serving others by the way we cook, by the way we crack jokes, by the way we serve at our hospitals, by the way we serve just smiling as we walk down the street or waving to a neighbor. We fill ourselves up first. We take good care of ourselves first. And then we have something left over to give, but it's not full of resentment. It's full of a grounded, steady place. So let's start that welcome. Just check and see how you're doing. How do you physically feel today? The neck and shoulders, do they feel tight? How about your jaw, your throat? Is there any clamping going on around the muscles around your head? Are you squinting? Are you squeezing your bottom or your belly? I like to start classes this way because we can't start with a positive thought. I feel great, I'm ready for yoga, because it may be not true. Maybe you had a bad dream. Maybe the house feels really dirty. Maybe you're worried about some meeting coming up. So we want to start with really, truly where we are. So if it helps to close your eyes, go ahead and close your eyes and check in. How do I feel today? How am I feeling? What am I presenting with today? Just in a physical level at this point. What mask did I put on my face? What mask am I wearing? See if I can relax the muscles around my face. If it's challenging for you to sit still, be a disciplined disciple and sit still. Just sit still and check in on that physical body. And then as if we're pulling back a curtain, let's pull that physical curtain back and check in on that mental body. What's on your mind today? Does the mind feel jumpy? Does it flicker? Past, future, past, future, past, present, present, past, future, past, present, present. Does it just flicker? Just notice that mental body. And again, that disciple to the task, the student to the task. The task is to bring the mind to this introspective gaze. Nobody's mind sits still. It's a practice. Some days easy, some days a little bit more challenging. Just notice if it's flickering quickly and just keep bringing it here, bringing it right now. Pulling back the curtain again, let's look at the breathing body, the pranayama kosha. Pranamaya kosha. Look and see what that breath body is doing today. We're not trying to make our good yoga breaths yet. We're just wanting the truth. Remember, how we breathe is how we feel. So if your breathing feels pretty choppy, pretty shallow, it's probably feeling a little anxious. Just notice for about a minute here what the breath body is doing right now. How is it presenting for you today? Where does the breath go? Where does it not go? Does it feel like it's in the front of the body or the back of the body? Both. And then finally, let's pull back this last curtain for today, pulling it back. And what are you feeling emotionally? What's on your heart? So sometimes we say, I feel good, or I feel sad, or like really get clear. What do I feel? What is this I'm feeling? Is it irritation? Is it frustration? Is it numb? Is it excited? Content? Productive? Loved? Loving? So we really want to label that emotion. What is that motion? What is that emotion that's moving through you right now? It doesn't mean that we have to stay there, but we want to tip on that truth. And as human beings, we all feel all of them sometimes. And the emotions are like leaves floating by on a little river creek. We don't have to get stuck in them. We can just watch the irritation float by, or we can watch the sadness float by. Motion, emotion floating by. What is it for you right now? About 5 more breaths. Okay. Starting to lengthen those inhales now. Lengthen those exhales. Just stretch them out a little bit. If this causes you any anxiety, just back off. You don't need to try so hard. It's just a little bit of an increase on the inhale, a little bit of an increase on that exhale. Fill up that beautiful body. Fill up that torso. Fill up the shoulders and the hips with this breath. Your belly, your back. I'm here and I'm now. My awareness might be flickering to this video, to something else. I just notice that it's flickering, but I'm not caught by it. I notice it and I just keep coming back. This moment here, this moment right now. Again, maybe closing your eyes helps you stay inward. If that helps, please do that and ask yourself, what is it today that I need? From these tools of mindfulness and physical movement and breath work, how do I want to feel? Where do I want to lean? As always, we're seeking balance. So if you came in feeling irritated and angry, maybe you need to calm yourself. You came in feeling hungover and heavy. Maybe you feel like you want some energy or you want to feel light. What would the opposite be for you? I'm going to be quiet now for 8 breaths. What is it today for you? What do you need? How can you best be served from these self-care tools that you bring into your life? 8 breaths. Bring in that mantra, that 1 or 2 word phrase. What do I need today? Start to simmer it down. Start to create that 1 or 2 word phrase. And when you feel that you have it, let's bring our palms to touch, thumbs against the heart. Sitting up nice and tall. Lean back just a little bit. Lean back. Repeat that mantra to yourself a couple of times. And then gently bring your chin to your chest. Open your eyes, see your fingertips. Remember this promise that you're making to integrate that body, mind, and spirit. And gently relax the hands and sit up nice and tall. So welcome. Welcome. We're going to start sitting up nice and tall here. And whatever leg you put in front, let's change it up. Let's challenge ourselves to always bring balance, that left and right balance. And all we're going to do is imagine that our head is on a pillow and we're just going to rotate the head. That's it. Today we're going to focus on neck and shoulders. We're going to do it in such a loving way, such a curious and loving way. How does it feel to turn the head? Do you feel like you make your head turn? So there's no aggression. You're just letting the head turn. We're going to be doing this a long time. So be curious. Is it different on one side than the other? Depending upon how you're feeling, maybe you'll interlace your fingers behind you as you're continuing on, just rolling the head on that imaginary pillow. And those of you who are very practiced in yoga, who consider yourself to be intermediate or advanced practitioners, and that means you have a soft smile, you have a soft face. Thich Nhat Hanh says, smile, be the master of yourself. Just by smiling, I am the master of myself. About 10 more rotations here. Some folks believe that as you age, one of the first things we lose is the ability to turn the head. We don't do it very often, or if we do, sometimes we just do it to the one side. So these mindful functional movements is just to keep that motion, the motion being the lotion. How's it feel? Hello, little neck. Hello, breath. Calm and steady. Just the ability to turn the head. When you think about things you're grateful for, how often do we think about that? I can turn my head. It's big though. All right, facing front. turn your head to the right, please. Drop the chin to the collarbone. So you're aiming your nose down to that right armpit. And you're just checking to see how that neck feels, that back of the neck. Some of you have still interlaced the fingers behind your back. That feels nice. Can you challenge yourself to sit up nice and tall through the mountain body? The only thing that's dropped is the chin. And I wouldn't even say we're hanging our head, because we're tucking that chin towards the collarbone. If you want to go a little bit deeper, take your right arm and help it with the weight of the arm. You're not pulling, it's just the weight of the arm. Gentle yoga. Not only do we do more gentle poses, but we have a very gentle approach. We sit into that beingness instead of that craving to be doing all the time. Put the head back on top, and let's take the hands back to our lap and just rotate the head again. Keeping the head sitting right on top again, as if you're lying down and your head is on a pillow and you're just rolling from ear to ear. I can turn my head left to right and right to left. 2 more. So simple. And back to center. Let's go to the left now. Take your chin over to the left. Drop to the left collarbone. Interlace those yoga mudra. Mudra means seal. Seal up those hands behind you if you did it on the first side. We'll spend about 5 breaths here. Again, finding the mountain torso. That body is sitting up nice and tall. And we're using our breath like a big old flashlight, shining any kind of tension, shining light on any kind of stiffness, physical or mental or emotional. And when you're ready, that left arm, if you did it last time, can come up and encourage that head. Do you notice anything different on this side? Perhaps yes, perhaps no. Very nice. Put the forehead in that hand and put the hand back, or the head back up, and release the hand. We're going to take our shoulders on some circles here, shoulders up to the ears and down. I don't know if your shoulders are doing it, but mine sure are, especially my right one, just moving those shoulders, nice and juicy joints. Can you feel the whole entire shoulder blade moving up and rolling forward? That's what we're doing today. We're imagining that we're lubricating this upper body. Nice and juicy. 3 more. And 2. Good. And forward, taking it back. Now up to the ears and rolling back. So if we think about the purpose of yoga, yoga being a path of wellness to know oneself, right? There's all these tools of yoga, our breathing, our movement, the way we take care of ourselves, the way we show up in our community, the way we learn to quiet our mind, the way we learn to focus our mind. All of these tools, 2 more rolling, so that we can know ourselves. So that's why it's really important that you just notice these little tiny details. Okay, pause. Take your left shoulder up and your right shoulder down. And release back to neutral, switching. Right shoulder up, left shoulder down. And continue back and forth. One shoulder up, one shoulder down. Now, again, if you're intermediate here, can you do it without making funky faces? It's hard. Just play with that. Good. 2 more. Up we go. 1 down, 1 up. And switch. Opposite shoulder up, opposite shoulder down. And release. Okay. Sliding both shoulders towards the camera. And away. Bringing forward. And back. And forward. Can you feel the shoulders moving away from the spine? And now those shoulder blades move towards the spine. 2 more. Front yard and backyard. Good. And then shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. We're going to take the left arm and we're going to reach it way up. Drop that left sits bone, the bone you're sitting on, and reach that arm up. Palm facing forward. Now take that arm in a T position here. So you've got that left arm poking straight out. Imagine you're going to try to touch that side of the room. And as you're reaching that arm, plug that shoulder medium towards the spine. So you're neutral. We'll do that 4 more times. Reaching to the ceiling, shoulders relaxed, but the fingers are reaching up, and then dropping that hand halfway. Now, I like to take my opposite hand, my right hand, and hold my pectorals, hold the front of that chest here. You can feel that movement. Just play with that. It's just amazing. Let's go 1 more time. Up we go towards the ceiling, and then we just reach it out. And now we're going to look towards the opposite hand. So we're going to look away from that extended left arm and reach. 5 breaths. Your arm might be getting tired. That's cool. That's what we want. Discipline. Some of you with the hyperextension in your elbows, double check you've got a soft little bend there. You're not overextending. Some of you may drop the chin towards that collarbone. 2 more deep breaths. And facing forward, relax that arm down. Feel the difference. See if you can put some breath in there. All right, switching sides. Right arm goes up. Really reach it up. Drop that right sits bone. Feel the opposite action. Opposite action. And exhale, take it towards the T position, halfway out. And up we go, reaching arm away from sits bone. Shoulders relaxed. You got lots of space between the shoulder and the ear. And halfway down, palm is facing forward. 3 more. Up we go. We want to look at these shoulders. Why? Because that's the neck stem. Come on up. Opening up that long neck. Halfway down. We're still in mountain. We still have a nice tall spine even though we're sitting. Last one, especially if we're sitting. And we'll go 1 more here again. Up we go. Reach, 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 shoulder, 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 and coming into a T position. Some of you may want to take your hand on that chest and look away. If we were on our beds, we would have our ear on the pillow. So double check that you're keeping those shoulders aligned, keeping the ears as aligned as you can, balancing equally. Checking in on the integrity of the elbow again. If you need that soft bend, make it happen. And that flickering mind, that human chattering mind, you are learning to control. So you just keep bringing your awareness to this moment right now, managing those thoughts, managing your mind. I got this. Or whatever your mantra is. One more deep breath. So good. Inhale, come on up and release. How's that feel? Let's pause for 5 breaths. I always think of that song, Your Body is a Wonderland, because it really is. I mean, you could just sit for hours and just focus on your knee, or your toes or your jaw. Just so much to look at. It's like looking into the starry sky. There's so much mystery to you. You could just get lost looking. Recalibrating. All right, very nice. We're going to do another thing here. We're going to take our arms out nice and wide, palms facing forward here. We're going to turn the palms back, and the palms forward, even up. So we're rotating the entire arm now. Now, as you're playing with this cycle, where are you rotating from? Can you rotate from the shoulder? And sometimes that means put a soft bend in the shoulder, on the elbow, sorry, not the shoulder. Put a soft bend on those elbows and see if you can rotate from the top. You'll notice I've got a little bend in my elbows. It helps me really make sure I'm using the chain from the top of those shoulders. So maybe even more of a bend. Palms up, palms down, full rotation. Now, as we continue this for another 12 breaths or so, I want you to really focus on keeping your head aligned. So we're not letting that head drop forward. We're keeping it like we have a book sitting right on our head, right at the top of our head. Yes, the arms are getting tired. Yes, it's a little boring. Keep focusing the awareness to this moment right now. And that pain or stress or whatever you're feeling from just doing this, see if you can swim below it and get really curious. Where is it fatiguing? You can turn your head side to side if you want to, but just keep it on top. About 3 or 4 more rounds of rotation. And smile, even though your arms are breaking. 2. And good. Arms up, clap, clap, and in prayer and release. How was that? Take 5 breaths. Breath, body. Good. Okay, we're going to take 2 blocks. And if this isn't comfortable for you, then you can always skip it, of course. You can continue sitting the way we were. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to sit into Virasana. So we want to double check that our ankles are equal distance apart. We're going to put a block or 2 between our ankles. And this is a knee. We've got to be careful of our knees here. So we want to double check that we're rolling the calves out first before we sit down. Okay. Some folks don't need 2 blocks. Some of you may not even need 1 block, but I do recommend it because we're doing gentle yoga. But if you really don't need it, feel free to move it. So we're sitting on a block between our ankles, and now our toes are pointing back. If your toes are out, then you need to really change that because that's not good on the knees. So make the toes point directly back, really spreading those toes. Okay? Arm out again. Take our left arm out, and now we're going to bend the elbow. So our palm is facing behind us. We're just going to let that forearm sort of swing, just checking in on that elbow, sitting up nice and tall. Kind of looks weird. Okay. Just check and see how that elbow feels. Maybe rotate the wrist a little bit and then release. Let's do the other side. Take it up, let the forearm swing here. You got a bent elbow, little pendulum. Just what's that feel like? How does the elbow feel? How does that hinge? When's the last time you really thought about your elbow? Probably not, unless it was an injury, right? Thank you, elbow. What a good elbow you are. Maybe circle your wrists. Yeah. Okay. So just checking in. Last thing here, shoulders up, elbows up, wrists up, and then float them down. We'll do that 4 more times. Shoulders up, elbows up, wrists up, fingers up, and down. Shoulders up, elbows bent, wrists up, reaching to the sky and floating down. 2 more. Up we go. Almost like we're a marionette and somebody's pulling our strings. It's full of freedom. Let's go 1 more round here. Up we go, up we go, up we go. And relax. Beautiful. Okay. Let's find our way to hands and knees. We're going to take our blocks on the high level here and put them at the front of our mat. Some of you may find that you may need a blanket, and that would go there. We're going to be doing restorative Shalambhasana. Not quite yet, but that'll be there. So we're going to take our hands and knees here, tabletop. We're going to find our hands. Now find your pinky fingers pressing into the mat. Now your ring finger pressing into the mat. The middle finger pressing into the mat. The pointer finger pressing into the mat. The thumb pressing into the mat. Curl your toes under and downward dog. Bring your attention now to those shoulder blades. Find the neutral line between squeezing towards the spine and away from the spine. Check in on the hinges of the elbows. They're steady. There's a soft bend on them for some of you. Pressing into those palms and then lifting the palms slightly. So we want to have a little arch to our hand. What we do with our hands and our fingers directly affects our neck. So we want to keep nice integrity here. Two more deep breaths. Let all that fresh blood come into the head. One more. And gently, knees coming down, knees coming down, knees coming down. And pause. We're going to do a half vinyasa. Okay. Here we go. Inhale, look up. Keep that alignment. Exhale, touch the forehead to the tailbone. Nice, reaching spine to sky. Inhale, looking forward again. Exhale, 1 breath, downward dog. Use that breath. We're going to do this 4 more times. Inhale, tabletop. Look up. Exhale. Push yourself back to child's pose. Inhale, tabletop, look up. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Keep going. Inhale, tabletop, look up. Nice big back bend there. Exhale, Balasana, child's pose. Inhale, tabletop, look up. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, tabletop, look up. Exhale, child's pose. Feel the curves of the back. Inhale, tabletop, look up. Moving those shoulders. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more. Inhale, tabletop, look up. And exhale, child's pose. Inhale, tabletop, look up. Exhale, downward facing dog, and hold. Downward facing dog. Feel the bones of the arms. Feel the more you press into the thumb and the index side of the hand, the more the roots of the shoulders can slide to the sky. So it's almost like there's a button underneath your thumbs that make those shoulder roots reach to the ceiling. And that can release the head. Long, long, heavy head, long neck. 3 more deep breaths. You're stirring up, turning yourself upside down. They call that the fountain of youth. When you go upside down, it's like a fountain of youth. Stirring yourself up. You see the world in a new way. Look around while you're upside down. What do you see? I just found a slipper underneath my couch. One more deep breath. And gently come on back down, and pause. We're going to go into moving our arms here. Take your left arm up. We're in tabletop, left arm up. We're going to reach it underneath the right arm, bring our cheek to the floor and the shoulder blade to the floor, and really feel that opening. Some of you may want to interlace your fingers here and pull that shoulder blade away from the spine. We want lots of extension in our neck. One more deep breath. And beautiful exhale. Come on back up. Come on back to hands and knees. Play around with some cat-cows again if you want. Articulating that spine. Maybe go to down dog if you want. Stir it up. Stir it up. It's like doing laundry, soaking a bunch of towels and not wringing them out. It's like our bodies just get so swollen with all of this heaviness. We've got to wring it out, turn it out, twist it out, stir it up. Good. Come on back to hands and knees. Opposite arm now. Take it up, thread it through, bringing your other shoulder blade down, bringing your cheek down. Keeping the pelvis level, aiming your sits bones to the wall behind you, but twisting through the upper body. Your head is on the mat or on a block if you need it. You want to be really relaxed here. Working a little deeper, interlace your fingers and pull that shoulder blade away from the spine. And you're moving the body like this. Why? So your breath can be free. Send the breath into the spots you're creating. Imagine that the breath is going between each and every bone. Clean it out, 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 out. 2 or 3 more deep breaths. Building our bones, building our breath, building our awareness of who we are with love and kindness. Keep bringing that awareness back. Beautiful. Come on back to hands and knees. Dolphin pose, please. Bring your elbows down. It's a very therapeutic pose for neck and shoulder tension. Bring your palms to touch. Some of you like to put your hands on the mat. You decide. I like to interlace my fingers, but keep my pinkies out. However you want to do it. Your elbows are right underneath your shoulders because we want the bones to do the pose here. Squeeze those elbows together, but keep the space, shoulder distance apart. Curl your toes under and take your bottom to the sky.
So it's just like downward facing dog, except that our elbows stay on the mat. And if you want to, bend the knees and just really focus on the neck and shoulders. Our head is not on the mat here. Our head is hanging. If your head is on the mat, pull those shoulder roots, the shoulder blades, to the ceiling and gently bring them towards the spine a little bit. I like to imagine it's almost like you're trying to make a little sewing stitch, trying to stitch those shoulder blades together. And then can you receive the pose? Instead of doing the pose, can you just get there and receive it? 3 more deep breaths. 2. And gently, good. Come on down, down, down. Sitting on your bottom or on your ankles, if that feels comfortable, and just pause for a moment and receive. See if you can come into those big breaths again, those nurturing breaths. Turning the awareness off of the flickering of all the things and disciplining yourself to bring it back to watching that pranamaya kosha, that breath body. What's it doing? This is your life force. What's it doing? Is it getting shallow? Are you holding yourself out? Come back to a calming rhythm. 2 more big breaths. Okay. Shalimbasana. So as if we were wearing a tank top, the straps of the tank top is what we want to put on those blocks here. So we're going to come to our bellies, and I'll actually do lower. So I'm going to go to a medium level, and I'm going to tuck the blocks right underneath my shoulders. Right there. Okay. So not down on the arm, not near the bicep, but right there where my tank top strap would be. I'm going to bring my body into a nice relaxed state. Some of you can fold the arms down by your sides. Some of you may need a blanket here to rest the forehead. I prefer not. I like to let my forehead come to the mat, and we're just going to relax. If you're not feeling anything, maybe you can turn your blocks up higher. Just let the head relax. This should feel really relaxing. If it doesn't feel really relaxing, you either need to put a forehead pillow, you need to turn your blocks down, or maybe it's just not for you. Okay? Now, what are you doing with your glutes? Are you clenching your bottom? Can you bring those hands down towards your hips? Does that feel comfortable? Does that feel safe? We're here for another 8 to 10 breaths. Really let that big old heavy head go. Feeling all that nurturing that you're doing with yourself here. Are you holding yourself back anyway? Can you release the inner thighs? Could you release any clenching in the jaw? Can you let the head receive the floor, or the floor receive the head? Keep bringing your awareness to the moment you're in, repeating that mantra. So gentle with yourself. Practicing how we take care of others by practicing how we take care of ourselves. So sweet. 3 more breaths. Taking your time now. Taking your time. Sliding your hands under your shoulders and press yourself up to your choice. You could go to tabletop. You could go to downward dog, or you could go back to child's pose and sit on your ankles. We're going to do one more thing here, but we're just going to take a little break. So finding a position that's nurturing here to come out of that restorative Shalabhasana. And then the last thing here, we're going to take ourselves back up into hands and knees. Some of you may need a block for your neck if it becomes too much. This is a pretty deep neck stretch, so I want you to be careful here. We're going to come into hands and knees. We're going to turn our tailbone towards the ceiling, and we're going to bring our right cheek to the floor. So what does it feel like to bring your right cheek to the floor? Does it feel too much on your neck? So some of you can even bring your hands down by your sides. Notice that I'm keeping my hips above my knees. I'm not sitting into child's pose. I'm actually really keeping the hips up. And I'm bringing my forehead and my side of my head to the mat. Letting the shoulders shrug and taking some of you the hands down by the ankles. If that feels too much, skip it. Pretty deep, the deepest neck stretch, actually, turning your head like that. So be careful. If it's strenuous at all, back off. Ahimsa means non-aggression. You never, ever, ever are aggressive in a yoga pose. Okay, come on back to hands and knees. Wiggle it out however you'd like. And then we'll switcheroo. Put the other cheek down. You got to start over. Hands are underneath your shoulders again. See how that feels on the neck. If it feels okay to take your hands down by your sides, feel free to do so. Let the shoulders shrug towards the ears. Deep, nurturing breaths. Okay, come on back up. Okay, finding an easy cross-legged position, sitting up nice and tall, and just pause for a moment. Deep breaths. All right, taking your hands behind you, interlace your fingers. Let's take our hands over towards our left hip. Okay, and then drop the ear to your shoulder. So we have the hands on the left hip, and we have the ear on the left shoulder. So how does this feel? We're going to slow down now, as we've been slow this class. Really doing that deep inner work, deep inner gazing. And we're going to take a little bit longer of a shavasana than we typically do, and we're going to work on breath. Okay, taking your cheek to your opposite cheek to ear. So right hand, hands on the right hip, right shoulder, and do it again. Keep breathing. So again, it's discipline. It's a disciple to the task, a student to the task. The task is to manage our mind. Bring ourselves here. Bring ourselves right now. It is not easy, but anything worth having is not easy, right? Some days is a little bit more challenging. Beautiful. Very, very nice. All right, come on up. We're going to all look over here. We're going to take our blanket now into our mountain fold, and we're going to roll it up nice and tight. Those of you who've done class with me before, you know this. This is our little baby cradle. So we're going to take our blanket. It's got a nice little tight roll there, and we're going to place it in a way. Just watch me for a moment. We're going to place it in a way that we're going to have our little neck nook. And then we're going to take our strap, and we're going to take our legs in our strap mid-thigh, hip distance apart. This is going to be our shavasana. If you have a couch nearby, you might even prop your legs up. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our neck to that roll. It's going to go right underneath our roll. And then we're going to take the blanket and we're going to wrap it around our head, almost like we were a baby in a car seat. And we're going to take the blanket and roll it underneath. So once we've rolled it, now we're just going to sort of tuck it in and around itself so that we feel like our head is in like a horseshoe. Very, very calming. My knees and ankles are hip distance apart, and I'm able to just let my legs fall into the strap. Some of you may want to put your arms on a block if you want. I don't need that. I'm going to just take my arms out nice and wide here. And we're going to come to relaxing here. Just pulling that blanket. You don't need to overthink it. Just do your best. And as always, let the floor receive you. Feel the cradling of that head. Feel the cushion of the floor holding your shoulders and hips, legs and arms. Bringing your mind's attention to the bones of the neck, all the way through the middle of your shoulder blades. The shoulder blades sliding down away from the ears and tucking in, flattening out, balancing between the left and the right sides. And then turning those palms to face up. So we're rotating the entire chain from the shoulders And relaxing the mask you're wearing, the muscles of the face, tongue soft, and bring your eyes to close. Imagine that you are very lovingly inhaling, swelling like riding on a nice little gentle ocean wave, and exhale. Imagine you're being received by that water, just floating on a nice little raft. Inhale, swelling, lifting up, and exhale, dissolving back, just letting the ride of the ocean waves lull you. Feeling that connection between the inner world and the outer world on the inhale. Connecting to the outer world and the inner world on the exhale. That which is in becomes out. That which is out becomes in. Riding the rhythm. Remembering yourself. Remembering. All the cells reorganizing as you come back to integrating fully. Inhale the inner to the outer. Exhaling from the outer to the inner. Reorganizing your organism. Breathing in, fully breathing out, fully remembering yourself. Melting muscles, relaxing into the lift and swell of the inhale, and allowing yourself to dissolve into that exhale. Reorganizing this organism. Finding that gentle rocking rhythm of the breath. Inhale right into the exhale. And the exhale right into the inhale. Natural rhythm. I'm going to watch the time. Remembering yourself here. Take your time. If you are enjoying this, remembering, reorganizing yourself, that integrating, then enjoy it. Just allow yourself to continue. If you're ready to close up with us, take your time to roll off to the right side. Roll off to the right side slowly and take another deep breath here. Take your time. Practicing how we show up for others by practicing how we show up for ourselves. Love and kindness. Take your time now to use your arm and push yourself up and sit up nice and tall. Again, if you're on the floor, just keep breathing. Keep surrendering. Making your way to a seated Sukhasana pose, an easy cross-legged pose. Sitting up nice and tall. Thumbs against your heart. And as always, may we sit in a spirit of gratitude. Not just when things are easy, not just when things are going our way, but also when things are really hard, when things are really confusing or irritating or frustrating or humbling. Can we be grateful for these scratchier lessons too? These lessons show us who we are. And who are you? Who are you right now? As always, may this be of benefit to you. The good in me, the light in me, honors and sees the light and good in you. Deep, deep bows to you all. Namaste. So I'll take a minute here. If you want to stay in chat, stay in chat. Otherwise, have a beautiful day. Keep remembering who you are all day long. See you soon.